You are listening to the Scars and Guitars podcast series that syndicates for the A-List Online. My name's Andrew Mackay-Smith. I've got a great interview subject coming up for you. I've been a fan of this band for a long time, and indeed the man himself. It's none other than Steev Esquivel from Oakland's own Skinlab. I'm so glad that these guys are coming to Australia and that they are back in the business of making music. Now, the reason for the conversation, of course, is because of their tour. They are touring across July and August 2019 with Pissing Razors. I've already had a conversation with Joe from Pissing Razors. That was a great conversation. Now, I'll read out all of the dates. There's only one date in July, Wednesday the 31st in Adelaide. Thursday the 1st, they're in Brisbane. I will hopefully, fingers crossed, be getting to that show. Friday the 2nd, they're in Melbourne. Saturday the 3rd, they're in Sydney, of course. And then finally, Canberra. You've got a show on Sunday the 4th. So let's have a listen to what Steev has to say. Here we go. Andy Mackay-Smith calling for our chat. How are you going?
What's happening, man?
Mate, it is, I think it's about 12 degrees outside at the moment, Celsius that is. It's a balmy Tuesday morning. Got up, got to get the kids' lunches organised, and I'm talking to the great Steev Esquivel. So, mate, I've got nothing to complain about, mate, I've got to tell you. You know?
Awesome, man. Thank you. It's a pleasure. How you doing? Been a long time since I talked to anyone in Australia.
Mate, I actually was in the crowd in year 2000 when you guys toured. You know that? And I remember that like as if it was yesterday, to be honest with you, man. So I don't know where the last 19 years or so have gone, man. But it certainly
was that the short-haired tour, or do we have dreadlocks hair then?
No, you had hair then.
The first one.
You had hair then, and
okay.
I bought one of my favourite band T-shirts ever, which was a black. It was a black T-shirt. Of course, it was black, but it had silver writing on it, silver stencil on it, and it said "Bay Area Beat Down Down Under," and it had all of the tour dates on the back. That was a wicked band T-shirt, that man. That one.
Awesome, man.
You know, so these shows, mate. Just to that point, I didn't think we'd ever see you again, to be quite frank with you. But here you are, mate. You got 3 shows coming up with Pissing Razors, man. Another great band who I never thought I'd see on Australian shores. But you got to be looking forward to these shows.
Yeah, absolutely. Those are our brothers. And actually, there's 5 shows total. Two more shows have been added to the tour.
Oh, sweet. Okay.
Yeah, but yeah, no, we're very excited. Are we going already? Are we into this?
Yeah, that's it. Go for it, man. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Yeah, no, we're excited, and we're well primed, and we're actually firing on all cylinders these days. When I say that, we've grown up a lot, and we've learned to live life without being so fucking crazily messed up all the time. So it's a whole new lease on life, man. We're really excited to get back out there, and we're really excited to get out there. I'm not sure how much I can emphasize on that, man.
Yeah, well, look, we're looking forward to it, man. It's just occasionally every year there's a tour from left field, or there's an album that comes out from left field, and you're like, holy shit. Like a couple of years ago, it was Venom Inc. reforming and then releasing Ave. This year, it's been the Possessed releasing their new album.
Yeah.
Jeff Becerra back into the fold, thank God for that. And now you guys touring.
Fuck yeah.
And now you guys touring. So I think it's one of those things. And the interesting thing about you guys is, and I really got to credit you with this one here, mate, is that prior to you guys coming out with Disembody the New Flesh, I know we're going back 20 years now, but I'm in my 40s. So, this is the span of time that I've been listening to metal. I really didn't like a lot of so-called new bands, okay? Really couldn't get into a lot of stuff. I kind of liked Machine Head. Love Pantera, of course, but in terms of the newer stuff, really wasn't getting into a lot of it. Then you released Disembody the New Flesh and the floodgates opened, I've got to say. And I reckon one of the heaviest cuts ever written alongside of Morbid Angels, Nothing Is Not, Is Looks Can Be This Deceiving. That's one of the heaviest cuts I think ever recorded, that one there, man. So please tell me you're playing that one.
We can. We definitely can. I'm glad you said something. We put a post out not too long ago of what people wanted to hear. I'm not sure if it reached Australia, but we're always down to play shit that people love. But that song's definitely fucking a really cool song to play live. One of the cool things about that song is it's so slow.
Yeah.
I mean, sometimes, for a while there in the beginning of our career, we were well, throughout our career, we were always placed on shows with like lots of different bands and lots of friends that we were coming up, we were friends with, but musically we weren't really similar, bands like Cephalic Carnage and,
Yeah.
coming up, just like that whole scene, that black death metal kind of forensic stuff.
Yeah.
And, for some reason we'd end up playing, like looks can be deceiving, and it get the craziest of crowds moving. So we, just, you never know, I mean, that was a song that seemed like a kind of a more somber, middle of the road thing, but something about it, man. We really, we could see the reaction that song gets from people, and I appreciate that. Scott Sargent wrote the music for that. So
is that right? Wow. Okay. Yeah, that's fantastic. Yeah. Yeah. You hit on a really important point there too, which is that you were sort of lumped in with some death and black metal bands, but probably for no reason. It was just convenience's sake, less so than a genre's for a genre's reason. And I think that's what it was.
Well, yeah.
Remember,
our label was pretty much, at that time they had pretty much honed in and kind of pretty much had a pretty big, strong grasp on a lot of that stuff. So, between Prosthetic, Century Media, Nuclear Blast, I mean, all the owners and labels, like, they were all really good friends. So, just kind of a circle of wind, and I think we just happened to be in the middle of, and it was really cool. I mean, it's funny because we say that we kind of graduated from that and went on to more nostalgia bands. Like, for some reason we end up getting, SOD tours, Exodus tours, and we were starting to get like all these bands that were coming back. And I don't know. I mean, all in all, it's been great because we've been, exposed to so many different styles and so many different fans from different bands that we've been able to play in front of. So can't complain.
Well, I think as you well know, mate, the so-called true and cult death and black metal fans, man, they're after the real deal, man. So if they've gravitated toward you, man, that can only be a good thing. They sense that authenticity,
absolutely,
that real authenticity within your music.
Sure. Yeah. Well, that's really cool. And we're, ironically enough, I mean, I'm sure we have a new drummer, and our name's Fabian. He's like really into the darker side of metal, and we're really stoked with the new album. It's something that it's his first album with us, and it's really cool to hear from him. Like, wow, dude, this is a pretty intense record. I mean, he listens to everything. I mean, I would say that Behemoth is probably the most commercial of the stuff he listens to. So to get a little, compliments from him and direction that the album has gone is pretty cool. It's kind of reassuring, and yeah. Cool.
Indeed, it is.
We'll see if they embrace us, man. We're everything. We're nervous, man. It's been a long time since we put out a new album, and it's like, where do we stand? We know we wrote a really, really, really good record. We know we wrote really strong, super heavy. Fucking production's amazing, but it's like, where does Skinlab stand today? You know what I mean?
I get it.
We're really excited to see.
The other thing too is I've always loved your artwork. It seems to me like as though a lot of effort and a lot of attention to detail has gone into your artwork. I mentioned the T-shirt that I purchased 19 years ago, but your album covers, man, they've always been epic. So will that theme continue? Can you tell me a bit about some of the artwork that you've got associated with the new album?
Yeah, we've actually we by chance we just threw out a couple of feelers, and we got this guy that's from Australia.
There you go.
Ironically, and I don't really know his name offhand right now, but yeah, we've kind of the new album's called Venomous. That's
Venomous.
The title of the album.
There you go.
And it's a pretty cool album cover. I mean, it's manipulated kind of scenery that's really cool. I don't want to give away too much, but we just finished it last couple days actually, and yeah, I mean, it's just kind of crazy, everything after 11 years without a record. I mean, in the last 3 weeks, photo shoots, press,
cool.
Like, wow, this shit's happening again. Holy shit, here we go.
Hey, what have you been?
I'm very, very grateful, really. So.
Yeah, that's cool, man. Yeah, I can sense that, and the opportunity to come back is one thing, but what have you been doing in between 2009 and now? I know you were 2006, is it? It's been a while, anyway. So, have you just been working?
Well, the last album came out 2011, but we've, aside from a few years, basically what happened is, the band, we were working our asses off, for 15 years, really, really working our asses off touring. And, after the Century Media years, we changed to a smaller label. And, when you go to a smaller label without those big connections and the big machine behind you, you tend to kind of see who's really behind you,
Yep.
And, the scenes kind of changed underneath our feet, like right around Revolting Room, Kill Switch Engages and all the, Unearthed and all these bands that really came in and swept the scene and changed everything. And, that was around when we parted ways with Century Media. So, after really burning rubber and, treading the road for a long time, it's like we were killing ourselves, and we seen what was happening, and we seen that we weren't, the hottest band. And turn around, we should have kept going. But the reality of things is, I had children that were growing up and needed their dad home. And it's something, the guys felt that it was going to be okay to take a back seat a little bit. And we never really broke up. But without, Century Media and a big label behind us, it was really hard to keep us on radar. Mm-hmm. So, between Scars Between Us and now, we've really been writing and, writing with, Scott came back for a second. We started writing.
Oh, wow. Okay.
It didn't really work out. We scrapped the record. Me and Paul started writing it, the new album, and, and then all of a sudden Snake came back to the band and threw everything out the door. So really everything has just been really kind of in motion for the last 7 years. But one thing I could say is the music that you're going to hear on the new album is stuff that has been personally in my veins for the last, for this whole time. So there's songs that have been, I've been nurturing, have gone through, every different kind of change you can imagine and everything. And, when Snake joined the band, we, again, we started touring, hitting the road, and, we've found out that we really wanted to do it again, and, put our minds to do it. And here 6 months later, we're just about done with the record. We have to go back in the studio next weekend to do one more track of vocals, and we're done.
Wicked.
And man.
Music's fans' ears, man, and there's a lot of fans out there that don't realise they're fans yet until they hear the music, I'm sure of it. And the great thing about a new album is it gives people an opportunity to get back into your older material as well, your legacy material as well. Because you're actually at the point where you would have influenced a lot of the younger fellas and girls that are going around right now. So do you get that feedback from musicians that you meet on the road or out and about in general?
Oh yeah, no, definitely. We get that a lot from the bands, newer bands that are coming up. There are most of them are Skinlab bands. A lot of the older bands, as and rightfully so. So are we. We're really big fans of this music. I listen to. I'm on board of everything that comes out new, man. I kind of try to take in everything, but it's been really cool the support we get from not only our peers, but a lot of the new bands and stuff like that were younger and coming up when we were hitting it hard. So we're hoping that that'll all, turn around and snowball into maybe, they like this new record, and maybe we share the stage together out there with these new bands that are blowing shit up. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I do. And I tell you, it's great seeing Snake back up there with you again, because one of the most imposing things you can see from an audience perspective is you up there. Remember when you had the massive dreadlocks on your bass and just screaming down the microphone at the audience, and then Snake's off to the side there with his massive dreads, man. It was one of those things where when you think about what a band should look like who plays the music that you guys do, you guys were the archetype there. So it's really cool to see that you guys are back in forces. So I take it you guys are good mates these days. And can you tell me a bit about the relationship between yourself and Snake? Is it one of those things that sort of matured and evolved since back in the day?
Well, of course, and Snake's helped me mature. Snake, has just got this venomous personality that it grows on you, and if you have had problems like I did. I've got severe social anxiety. I'm an
Right.
only child. I don't let too many people play in my sandbox. You know what I mean? It's like, man, I'm the fucking lead singer. You know, there's LSD in there somewhere. But I mean, there's people like Snake that smooth off the edges of all this, abrasiveness. And definitely, he's a person that doesn't do that to me. I mean, he does to anyone that he comes involved in. And I can't only just say that about Snake, but you don't know Marcos yet. Marcos has been in the band quite a while now, and he was in the band before Snake came back. And it's crazy because just like Snake, everybody loves Marcos. He's a beautiful person. Wouldn't hurt a fly, wouldn't talk shit about a fly. And, that's all important. And I feel that, like you said, the whole, the dreadlock thing, it's like, that's always been a thing about Skinlab. We're a bunch of dirty fuckers from Oakland, and yeah, they're back, longer than fucking ever.
Sweet.
And that's funny. We call it the Skinlab car wash because, Marcos has these fucking dreadlocks that are like, I call them octopus tentacles, because they just fucking, I could be like halfway across a 20-foot stage and he'd walk by me and just fucking hit me from 10 feet away. And it's like, what the fuck was that? It was like octopus came across the stage. So yeah, we like to brutalize the fans with them too. And definitely a part of the thing. I mean, images, everything. And when I feel that when we're not Slipknot or nothing, which is fucking badass and take that all the way to level, but we definitely, when you see Skinlab, it's Skinlab. And
Absolutely.
You're an old fan of ours, and you're not going to walk away disappointed.
Okay.
I guarantee you that.
Sweet. Now, what about the Revolting Room? You did something there that was one of the first times. I'm sure other bands have done it, but this is one of the first times that I'd really heard about someone doing this, and that was when you released a number that people could call in, basically swear at you and carry on, and some of that stuff made the album. So did you have anything similar lined up for this one here, or was that a one-off deal?
Again, that's when we were with the Big Machine. We had, Century Media, all the kids that worked there. And I call them kids because they were much younger. We were all kids back then. Shit.
They would say the same thing.
Now the guys that were running Century Media are now running the fucking scene now. You got Steve Joe, all those guys that used to run Century Media. I mean, they're the guys running the game now, So we had all these people with all these different ideas, that were just groundbreaking, I think we were one of the first bands that actually had this double-sided fucking, it looked like, a page out of Revolver magazine for our bio. You know what I mean? I mean, like they went all out for us. And, so yeah, I mean, I think I'm veering off from your question.
No, that's fine. No, you go for it. No, it's any answer it the way you like. Yeah.
No. Again, I mean.
Yeah, I understand. You had a big machine.
Was such a cool thing with our fans. I mean, we still have people that go, "Hey, I was the dude who was, did this," and I was like, "Oh shit, dude, you were fucking scary, bro. Are you all right?" And it was a cool way for us to connect with our fans and let them be a part of our venture. And they knocked it out of the park with that one.
Sweet. Mate, I think that's it. I think my time's up and the next one's going to come through in the sec. But look, congratulations on an epic career. I'm a big fan, as you've pointed out. And it's just so great to see you back and coming down here with pissing razors. I've already had a chat to Joe, and he's a lovely fella. I can't wait for the shows, man. Yeah, it's fantastic.
Awesome, man. Thank you so much for your support. Let them know. We're coming to beat you guys up hard.
We'll do, mate. All right, no worries. All the best with it, and see you down here.
Hey, thanks again, bud.
No worries, mate. Okay, catch ya.
Take care.
Bye. You've been listening to the Scars and Guitars podcast series that syndicates for the A-List Online. My name's Andrew Mackay-Smith, and that interview subject was the one and only Steev Esquivel from the US outfit Skinlab. Thanks so much for listening.